So if you're building anything with AI, you know the struggle, right? How do you get from a demo that looks amazing to a product that actually works consistently for real users? Well, today, we're going to dig into a huge mindset shift for 2025, one that really separates the hobby projects from the professional-grade products.
You know, we've all been there. Your LLM app breaks, and what's the first thing you do? You jump right back into the code to tweak the prompt. You think, ugh, if I can just find that perfect string of words, that magic incantation, it'll finally work. But is that really the way to build something that's truly robust, something ready for production? The answer? Well, it's probably not what you think.
Now look, let's be clear. The prompt is where it all begins. Don't get me wrong, it's that initial spark, that incredible aha moment where you first see just how powerful these models can be.
And we have a name for this, right? Prompt engineering. It's this cool mix of art and science, carefully crafting your inputs to get exactly what you want out. And for a while there, it really felt like this was the only skill that mattered in this brand new AI world.
And honestly, it does feel like magic. You type a few words, maybe add a little something like act as an expert copywriter, and boom, out comes this perfect piece of text or code. That wow factor is real, and it's what got so many of us hooked on building this stuff in the first place.
But here's the thing. The magic that works so beautifully in a controlled playground environment, it tends to just completely fall apart when it meets the messy reality of the real world. And that's when we go from a fun experiment to some very, very real production headaches.
And boy, do the cracks start to show fast. All of a sudden, your outputs are totally unpredictable. The prompt that worked perfectly yesterday is spitting out nonsense today. Your performance is all over the place. And you realize your amazing prompt is actually incredibly brittle. It shatters the second it sees an edge case you never thought of. Pretty soon your whole application is just this tangled mess of nested prompts that's an absolute nightmare to maintain.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Thinking that a clever prompt is enough is like building a house on sand. Sure, it might look impressive on a calm, sunny day, but the minute the storms of real-world users and unpredictable data roll in, the whole thing just washes away. There's no foundation.
So, if the prompt isn't the foundation, then what is? Well, this is where we need to start thinking about a new, much more robust discipline. It's time to look beyond the prompt and start engineering a complete system around the LLM.
Let's just simplify things for a second. Think about prompt engineering this way. It's the art of talking to an LLM. You're having a conversation, trying to persuade it to give you what you want.
But context engineering, this is something else entirely. It's not about talking to the model, it's about building systems to inform the model. You're giving the LLM all the relevant facts, all the dynamic data it needs to know before it even thinks about making a response. That little shift in vocabulary, from talking to informing, it changes everything.
Okay, so what does this actually look like? It's not magic, it's just good engineering. So a user sends a query. Instead of just passing that straight to the LLM, your system first goes and searches your own private, trusted knowledge base for relevant data. Then, it bundles that data with the user's original query. We call this assembling the context. And only then, with all that rich information, do you send it to the LLM. The result? You get an answer that isn't just a creative guess, it's an informed response grounded in your actual data.
To really drive this point home, let's use an analogy that I think makes this crystal clear. Let's think about the difference between a home cook and a professional chef.
The prompt engineer is kind of like a home cook. They're in the kitchen, experimenting, tossing in different spices and instructions, and basically just hoping it turns out well. And sometimes it does, but other times, not so much. The context engineer, on the other hand, is a professional chef. A chef doesn't hope. A chef controls the entire kitchen. They source the absolute best ingredients, that's your data. They prep everything perfectly in advance, and they use precise tools and repeatable processes to guarantee an amazing result every single time.
And when you map this whole analogy to the metrics that actually matter in a real business, the difference is just night and day. With the home cook's approach, consistency is low. With the chef, it's high. Trying to scale up a home cook's hope-based recipe for thousands of people? Good luck. But a chef's system, it's designed for scale from the very beginning. And finally, the prompt-only app is brittle and gets more complex over time, while the context-engineered system is robust and totally systematic.
So this is the big idea. As we barrel towards 2025, the whole mindset has to evolve. We're graduating from an era of just playing with conversational magic to an era of serious, systematic engineering.
And if you only remember one thing from our time here today, please let it be this. The goal is not to chase after the perfect prompt anymore. The goal is to build a rock-solid system that assembles the perfect context for the LLM, automatically, every single time. That's the real foundation.
So for all of you out there actually building this stuff, here's what you can do. Start seeing the prompt as just one small piece of a much larger machine. Pour your time and energy into building great data retrieval and context assembly pipelines. Focus on making your processes reliable and repeatable, just like that pro chef. It's really time to level up from just prompting to engineering.
Which leaves us with one final and I think pretty crucial question that we all need to be asking ourselves. Take a hard look at your project, your team, and your approach. Are you building a real, durable product, or are you just building a very clever prompt?